Dre. You got me running, you got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby. Raise your hands up, raise them up.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome, guys. It's After Dark. We are here. It's another Tuesday evening, and we are ready for a riveting show tonight. So, After Dark is the adult relationship show, and it's for the big people, then, where we go behind the black curtain. We dig deep into subjects that affect our relationships. Now, this show started at the beginning of the lockdown, and it was and is developing into something in its own entity. So I want you to sit back, relax, get yourself a drink, go get yourself something to eat if you're hungry. Get your iPad out, your phone out, your gadget out, whatever it is. And I want you at this very moment to go and tell your friends to watch this show. So I want you to like it, I want you to share it. And those of you who are on YouTube, subscribe to this channel, because tonight is going to be off the chain. Tonight, we are talking about jealousy. Oh my God, jealousy, that thing that we all kind of like run away from. We all are like, oh my God, we don't want a jealous partner. But what happens when your partner's jealous? What happens when you're jealous? What happens when you can't control your own behavior? Well, this evening we have our panel members as always. So without further ado, I'm going to bring the panel members in and we're going to have an open, candid conversation about jealousy. Hey guys. Hey guys. Right, so here we've got Tony. Tony is here. Tony's been on the panel from the very first show that we have done. So good evening, Tony. Good to see you this evening. Tisha, good evening. How are you, my darling?
I'm really well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for being here. And we have Kelly on. Hi, Kels. How you doing? You're good? Okay, we need to check out your volume as well. And we want to welcome, I wanted to make sure that we can hear you, Kels. So we want to welcome those of you who are on Facebook, our Facebook family, our Facebook panel. You know, we've got the Facebook warriors out there. They're the keyboard warriors, and they're typing away throughout the show, and they're asking questions. They're putting things to the panel members as well. And we also have our YouTubers. Hi, YouTube. How are you doing today? And thank you for being here. So whilst the other panel members are coming in, as I was saying, guys, we're talking about jealousy tonight. So I hope that you're willing to be open about your experiences about jealousy. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be your own experience. You know what it's like when you go to the hairdressers or the barber shop. You know, there's always a conversation about wagwan, who's doing what and what he did and what she did. And oh my days, really? And what happened then? This is what we're doing tonight. So we want to look at some things about jealousy and our behavior and how it affects our relationships, because we all are aspiring to be in relationships. We all want to be in relationships. We want to meet the right person, but that's the one thing can stop us moving forward is our behavior. And jealousy is a behavior that we need to discuss. So, without further ado, let's jump into the conversation, guys. So, you know what I'm like. I'll say, who wants to start? Who wants to give us a little snippet of their experience of jealousy? Everyone's like, really? Yeah. So who wants to go? Just go for it. You know, just go for it. Be assured that it's okay. Just remember not to mention anyone's names.
Also, I can't say that I'm jealous of August Alsine, because he managed to get himself into an absolutely amazing situation with the wonderful Jada Pinkett Smith. and got away with it, and then came out of it with flying colours. Wow, phew.
Wow. Yes, we have that situation. What a week to do jealousy, eh? What
What a
a
week.
week. What a week. Yes. So, yeah, because that's the talk, isn't it? It's all about, was she right? Was he right? Is he
Yeah,
jealous? Is this
yeah,
behavior out of jealousy?
yeah. And I think that that storyline kind of echoes my feelings about jealousy, because I think it's something that the older you get, the less of it you have. Um, it's no secret I'm in my 50s now, and I've been through 2 marriages, and I've seen a lot of the world in terms of relationships, etc. But I would say experience gives us an opportunity to understand why things aren't just written for us. I think jealousy comes when you basically think you deserve something, and you should have got it and you didn't. And those situations when you're younger are hard to accept, but as you get older and with experience, you become more adept at understanding, well, you know what, it wasn't for me, move on to the next situation. And that theory, I think, applies to a lot of things in life. Whether it's been, the person who felt jealous that somebody else got a promotion when you were younger. When you're older, you know what, that person, they may not have my skills, but it's their time, my time will come, or whatever. So I think it's an age thing that you get better at as you get older and you get more experience. That doesn't apply to everybody, but that's my feeling.
I've got another theory to that. So I'm looking at jealousy through like relationships, and it seems to stem from when the other person is happy, which is really weird. When they're really happy, they get scared that it's all going to go, and then they start getting really like funny about like the partners, who the partner's hanging out with, if they've got female friends or they've got male friends. That's where I've seen jealousy really come in, when they get scared for that person leaving them, which is mad, because you can ruin something really special when they get all jealous. So that's been my experience. So I'll give you a little story of what happened in I suppose my longest relationship. It started off really well, and I remember us going to one of my friend's house, and she had her partner there, and they were I think everyone was having a few drinks and everything, and then my friend's partner mentioned to mine about like how many people I've dated or something. And I don't think it was an appropriate question to ask. I don't think you need to know how many people you've dated. And then, from then, that's when the relationship really went downhill. It's only later on I realised that was the thing what triggered it. So he got really jealous of past boyfriends, really, and it started off good, but it went downhill. And I will definitely go into more detail, unless you want the detail now, Yvonne.
Well, why not? Let's get the juice. Let's get the tea, as the Americans say. Let's get the tea. Come on.
So I think what happened is, as I said, he got really jealous of past relationships to the point that he actually sabotaged the relationship because he didn't feel good enough for me. And that led to him cheating because he thought I was going to leave him. Ultimately, he thought I was going to leave him, and he didn't want his heart to be broken. That's what he's told me. And on like breaking down the relationship even more, I can see that's where it was triggered. So he thought I was going to leave him first.
So you're saying that he became jealous because he thought that you was going to leave him before he left you?
Yeah. And then we had problems with me going out, talking to other men. He would do like research on past boyfriends, like really extreme. Yeah.
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah, it was
That's
really bad.
that's
Yeah.
that is really, really interesting. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's where it started through jealousy of past relationships.
Right. Wow. Okay, so is anybody else? Good evening, ladies. How are you?
Good evening.
Good
Can you hear
evening, good
me?
evening. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. So I just want to say good evening to everybody that's on Facebook, everyone that's on YouTube as well. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are talking about jealousy. Now, I'm getting some feedback and I'm not sure where it's coming from. I'm not sure where it's coming from. So we are waiting. We are expecting a few more panel members in this evening, but as we're going to carry on with the show. So we're talking about insecurity. So Tisha, so how was that for you in the relationship? How did that make you feel?
It was terrible because I couldn't reassure him because it was past relationships. It was past relationship. I couldn't reassure him. Didn't matter what I did, and then slowly, oh, I want to say he became distant, but he didn't. Yeah, it didn't. But later on, I found out, he did start other relationships because he thought I was going to leave him all the time. He didn't feel good enough. I really, I don't know. But I know that's it's really weird. And there's so much more to the story. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we know that jealousy. Things are coming back. We know that jealousy refers to the thoughts and feelings of insecurity, fear, and the concern over relative lack of possession or safety. This is where jealousy comes from. It stems from fear.
Yeah.
Fear is the most negative energy that we possess. Fear, and so that's where it generally comes from. And that feeling of insecurity, and the thing is, if it's your partner outside of you that feeling the jealousy, as the person who's on the receiving end, what can you do to shift that energy or shift that behavior? So I'm going to bring in our other ladies. Tisha, thank you for that, because I'm sure you've got more to say. I'm sure you've got more to say. But I'm going to bring in the other ladies and Kels in, and then we're going to really discuss this openly. So would you, Faye, come in and let's have a conversation. What's your experience of jealousy, my darling?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I think that jealousy is a wasted emotion. That's the first thing I'd like to say. Because when we understand what jealousy means, and you've just explained it all, there are things that you can't change and there are things that you can change. So in relationships, if somebody is your partner and they constantly are worrying about what you're doing, where you are, that's something, as much as you try and reassure them, that's something that you can't change as an individual. So for me, I try not to get on board with that. And I feel that that person is the person that needs to work on themselves. So maybe there's a self-esteem issue with that particular person, or whatever the case may be, especially if I've not done anything. I mean, I've never cheated in a relationship. So for me, there's no track record for that particular person to feel that way. So that's an issue with themselves. Now, I did have a boyfriend back when I was in my late 20s. And this particular guy, he chased me for 4 years. I'll put it that way. He chased me for 4 years, and I was just not having it at all. And I don't know what happened. One day I must have had an epiphany, or somebody must have knocked me on my head or something, and I invited him in. Now, about 1.5 years after we started this relationship, he started to have an affair on me. I knew it was happening because I had that feeling that something was changing. So I knew it was happening, but I just didn't have any proof. So I just kept on and on and on. I asked him if he was, and he told me no. And I said, okay, well, it's a feeling that I'm having. I don't have any proof, so we'll just run with that. But in the meantime, he just kept going on. Like, he wouldn't want me to go out with my friends. He wouldn't want me to go out and do the things that I was doing. He wouldn't want me to go to the gym. He just got so possessive. And I just thought, okay, well, maybe that's a love thing. Maybe that's because he's waited 4 years to get me, or whatever the case may be. But it wasn't. What I realized was, because he was having this affair, he put that pressure onto me. And even though we had no proof, but because he was continually having this affair with this particular person, and I said, okay, I'm just going to leave it. 7 months after the question was asked, it all came out in the wash, because she was pregnant and said that she was pregnant for him. And I said, well, what do you want me to say? You put this pressure on me all the time to, to know where I'm at, to know what time I'm coming back. We were living in separate houses, so it was a pressure for that 7 months. But what I realized was, because he was cheating, he was putting that pressure on me.
Yeah. Okay. So how did that impact you? Having that pressure, how did that impact you?
As I said, I didn't apply it to myself, because the thing is, when you know you're not doing anything, you just take it in your stride. I think for me, it was a case of, I would only see him on the weekends, or I would tailor it so that he was spending less time around me, so that I wouldn't be hearing it all the time. So fortunately, because we were living separately, I could do that. So I found myself making a lot of excuses for why I wouldn't go and see him. And, I don't know whether that pressurized him even more, but for me, that's how I dealt with it. I thought, well, I know you're doing something, but I just can't prove it. So I'm just going to keep my distance.
And who ended that relationship?
I did. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So you took your power back?
Yes.
You took your power back. Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing. We're going to come back. We're going to come back to that. So I'm going to go to Kels, then I'm going to go to Cheryl, then we're going to go to Theo, and then we're going to open this up really and deep dive in. So Kels, what experience?
Hey guys, hope you can hear me.
Yeah, can hear you loud and clear. Lovely.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I'm like Faye, I don't do jealousy. I just waste the energy. If if it's a case of it's not working out, you like somebody else, fair play to him. I think men kind of handle things differently anyways, like, make the best man win. If you want to go in the ball ring, fight it out, go ahead. But yeah, and then what you find is that I can't say. I mean, when you're in your teenager days, I mean, that's when I'd say maybe I might have experienced it more then. But as you get older, it's just like whatever. So yeah. I mean, I will open up a little bit. When I was married, unfortunately, somebody may come into the mix, and it's like, woo, okay. And you then have to ask questions, and sometimes those questions are really for you, like, what did you do? Like, what did you do wrong? How could you have done things better? Where was the weakness? Where were the insecurities and stuff like that? So you really have to examine yourself when that happens. So I would share that much. I learned a lot, from being married and then no longer married. I thankfully was mature enough to be the bigger person and work on me, which really did help. And wonderful scriptures like, is it Psalms 12? 25, 37, I can't remember what it was now. But be still. Just be still. Just be patient. Stuff like that. I really learned a lot about myself. So sometimes you just seek to use the energy elsewhere instead of like moaning about it, complaining, you know, this is what you did and blah blah blah. I was like, no, hold on a minute. You know, what did I do? How can I be better? Certain gems of scriptures came in.
But you have to get to that place, right? You have to get to that place of, I think, I'm not saying that you were a jealous person before, but the one thing I do know about human nature is jealousy is in all of us. Whether we want to admit it or not, it is a part of our makeup. It's how we handle it that defines how we navigate through life. So I am here to disrupt this a little bit, because it's very easy as human beings to reflect out and deflect out and say, right, I'm not a jealous person. But somebody that's with you or has had experience of being in a relationship with you may say something really different because of the behavior that you are displaying. And I'm not directing this at you at all, Kels. I'm just saying this as a general thing. So I'm here to disrupt this normal, this what we're saying. Well, I'm not really a jealous person, but there is jealousy in me, because if you do certain things, it's going to ignite passion. It's going to ignite an emotion. So, okay, I see your finger up there, Kel. Go for it. Come in, brother.
Well, what I said is that I don't do jealousy. I'm not saying I don't get jealous, because as you said, it's a natural thing. It's like anger is an emotion. Now, we spoke about this, I think, last week, and there's an issue that, you know, we become angry. Well, it's an emotion that we have. We have every right to become angry. It's just, do you choose to become angry, or do you choose to become jealous? Or so do you choose to entertain it? So do you recognize it and go, hold on a minute, I'm angry right now. Right, what should I do with this anger? How can it now be turned or be converted into something that is positive? That's why sometimes it's best to just be still, for the presence of the Lord is moving in this place.
We're getting songs every week from Kelly. Yes. Go on,
You
brother.
know,
Go on.
it's something that you just, you know, it presents itself to you because it's part of you, as you said. You know, I'm angry about something. I'm really angry. I have every right to be angry. Cool, but am I now going to choose to operate in the area of anger? I may choose not to. Jealousy, yes. You do kind of think, well, what did I do wrong, man? What has he got? What I haven't got. What did he say? What you know? What did she say? Or you know what I mean? You just start wondering and questioning, you know, and then you can entertain that. I'm just saying it comes to a point where it's like you choose. So no, you're right. You know, jealousy is there, and sometimes Scripture says to provoke one to jealousy. So the Bible also is permitting that there is actually a time and place where you can be jealous, but it can be used in the right way. You know, so it depends on how you want to deal with it.
Okay, so Cheryl wants to come in to respond to Kelly on. So come on, Cheryl, come in. Come hither.
All I can say is that you guys are the most Zen-like people that I've come across in my life, because I will tell you, I've had times when I've been jealous, but it's with age and with wisdom that you recognize what causes it, and a lot of it is insecurity. But I think a lot of us only get jealous if our partners make us feel insecure or not valued. So yes, I've been jealous, and yes, when I've been frustrated in a relationship, it used to years ago result in a bad temper. I've learned to control, but I think it's an amazing thing to say that you choose to be jealous. I don't think anyone chooses to be jealous. I think you can somehow, with wisdom, learn how to recognize it when it comes and try and control it. But it is it can be a very powerful emotion. And all I can say is hats off to those of you that can just brush it aside, because it can be very difficult if someone is making you feel less than you are, and you've given of yourself, and that person rejects, because there's a lot to do with rejection and everything as well. So I've had people be jealous in a relationship, and yes, I've been jealous in a relationship too. So hats off to you guys. If you've got the secret of being able to stop that emotion, then great, share it.
So Cheryl, I would like to take this a little bit further, and I would like you, if you can, if you're willing, to describe a moment of jealousy that you have experienced in your relationship. Right? Who's
with me?
There's lots of Hold on
Yeah.
1 minute, Cheryl. There's lots of squiggling going on. Can we shut down some of the mics until people are talking? That would be helpful. Okay, Cheryl, come in now.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I think there are things that happen that when you look back on them, and I am talking quite a few years back, but I was in a relationship with someone, and we were living together, and we had an argument, and then he didn't come home all night. And then it led to me thinking that he was in hospital, so I didn't sleep. I was trying to figure out where he was. And then it turned out he was at another woman's house. And on reflection, I don't know if it was necessarily jealousy, but it was rage, because I was furious. And so, so it's a disrespect of your emotion. It's a disrespect of who you are, because and like I say, I think if you're in a committed relationship and that person values you and knows your triggers, then it's their job, or it's my job within my relationship, where possible, to say, look, in our profession, where we doing music and we're going to the studio, I would often say, I cannot tell you when I'll be back. When I go to the studio, it's not an hour. I could be there until 5 o'clock in the morning, because you've got a job to do. So you need to have a partner that understands and is relaxed with that. So that's basically where I am with that. But jealousy is tough.
Thank you so much. There on the comments, there's some comments that's saying, there's some comments that's like, what's the difference between jealousy and anger? Now, jealousy is a mental discomfort you feel when you see others having what you can have but could not because of some practical reason. This is the definition. Anger is the last part of jealousy and envy, when your own inability ignites or irritates you and you have to vent out an action. So it becomes like it's more, anger is more of an action, and jealousy, even though anger is an emotion, there is an action that spares it. And it's saying that anger is the last part of jealousy and anger. So jealousy starts it off and it has a journey and it gets to anger. And it's when your own inability aggravates or irritates you and you vent out the anger on yourself and others. That is the difference between jealousy and anger. Now I can see some hands going up, but I do want to bring in, because Theo hasn't spoken. Oh, where's she gone? Sarah was here a minute ago. Sarah hasn't spoken either. So thank you very much for your honesty, Cheryl, because I think that we have to kind of like take off the cloak and be honest, because we know that there are people who are listening on Facebook, on YouTube, and they either experience it or are at the hand of, they are the cause of the jealous behavior. So Theo, I want you to come in and then we'll come in with Tony. Hello, Theo.
Good evening, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Jealousy. Wow. Have I been jealous? I suppose I have. but I learned very quickly not to take it any further, because it's the person, I put the person into a choice. It's either me or them kind of situation. And if it's not me, then it's time to move on. So I think when I was in my early 20s, I felt a bit of jealousy. I've had people being jealous towards me, but we can go into that a bit later, when I've had people come up to me, and females come up to me and say X, Y, Z. But in terms of jealousy, I'm not really an emotional person anyway, at the best of times. So jealousy is not really an emotion that I really fester in. I kind of weigh it up and say, obviously I've done something wrong. So I just want to find out if I've done something wrong, what it is, so I can improve on it. So yeah, that's pretty much when it comes to jealousy. And in terms of who was just talking, was it Cheryl? The best way to do it, if you want to control it, is actually to weigh up the situation. Either the person wants you or doesn't want you. Simple as that. That's how you got to put it down to. Just get it down to black and white and put it into that. So that's my thing on jealousy. I don't really have much to say on jealousy, that me being jealous, no.
Okay, so the guys are quite, cool.
I'm a matter of fact,
But
black and white. It is what it is.
Yeah, I do want to make clear that jealousy is not the only part of anger. The anger doesn't necessarily have to be that you're jealous to be to be angry. Anger is an emotion all in itself. But in terms of the energy towards jealousy, it moves into anger when you start to display certain traits or behaviors.
That's a waste of energy. It's a waste of energy. Yeah. It's a waste of energy, because it's not going to change the situation. You can get upset, hot. If the person doesn't want you, it doesn't matter what you do, they're not going to come all of a sudden change their feelings towards you, because obviously whatever's happened has happened. If you've cheated on them or you haven't, or the relationship's fizzled out, whatever it may be, you getting angry and want to smash their car or whatever is not going to make the person come running back saying, hello, I've made a mistake. In fact, they're going to want to run further away from you. So it's
I can see some laughter going on in the panel when you said that. You don't want to mash up people's. Listen,
I've got stories of people getting cars mashed and scratched and stuff, but what was the purpose of it? It didn't change anything. In fact, it made the situation worse. I know people that's got injunctions put out against them.
Yeah. We know that this happens. We know. Let's be honest, in our many years, we are seasoned. Let me put it that way. We have seasoning in this panel, and because we are seasoned, we've seen some things. And for me, myself personally, yes, I have seen many things. Many people do some real off-key things. And have I been jealous in my life? Yes, I have. Have I been insecure? Yes, I have. Am I that same person? No, I'm not. But that's what maturity does. You grow and you see the trait, you see the issue, and then you deal with it accordingly. So, do I want to share a story? Yeah, maybe later I will share a story that you might not say it was jealousy. You might say it was right. You might say, well, you had the right to do it. Because most case scenarios, the person who's the jealous person feels like they have the right to do. And this is where I want to get to, because we want to be able to identify the rights and the wrongs and how we steer people away. Because you got to remember that this show, even though it's the demographic is a certain age, there's younger people watching this who are doing some off-key. I was going to say other things. We'll do some off-key things because they're feeling insecure and not have the capacity to think differently. So we have to put those things that into play. So Shell is saying, jealousy can lead to control. Control can lead to domestic violence. Domestic violence can lead to death. Very true. Jealousy is a very, very powerful emotion. Vanessa Osborne saying jealousy is usually because you are made to feel insecure or vulnerable in a relationship. And I, you know, this is good stuff. But I do want to challenge that. If we could just go back to the comment before. Yeah, no, not that one. The one before, after that one. Vanessa, that's it. Jealousy is usually because we are made to feel insecure or vulnerable in a relationship. Now, I'm going to say something that might just really upset people, right? And I know that I have been jealous in my youth. But one of the things that I remember my mother telling me, and she told me this, I remember this from 11 years old, right? This is something that stayed with me. And she said to me that no one can make you feel less than who you are unless you allow it. So today, because we're saying it's about how your partner's making you feel, I want us to now think about, and those of you who are on the thread, I want you to think about the control that you have in your life. I want you to think about, because if you are on those things, if you are saying that to yourself, well, they made me feel that way, they made you feel that, they did this, they did that. You are in control of your own thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and nobody can make you feel any less than who you are unless you allow it. So the question is, why are you allowing it? So I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to leave that on the side, and then we're going to come back to that. So Tony, come in, and then I'm going to bring Sarah in because we haven't managed to say good evening to Sarah this evening. So Tony, come in.
Yeah, welcome, Sarah. Nice to see you again. So a lot of things were mentioned, but again, I'm going to harp back to the experience situation where you get a lot of these things that terminate as you become more experienced at understanding yourself as a person and respecting the world and what it offers you. There was a sentence that jealousy is a wasted emotion. Well, it can only be a wasted emotion if you have full control of your emotions. If you don't have full control of your emotions, then jealousy, anger, etc. will all kick up into some, potentially dangerous scenarios in life. Becoming in control of your emotions takes a long time, though. So in your early 20s, for instance, most people are not aware of how their emotions are going to work. You don't fall in love that quickly and then fall out of love and then have that same set of emotions. So you have this whole well of things going on. And those can overtake you so that you become jealous quite easily. Later on in life, you kind of become controlling of those emotions. Things that make you get angry very quickly when you're younger, when you get older, they cease. You bring logic into play. You go, right, okay, well, that happened. That will come back on you. And you walk away from the situation. It would be like akin to being stopped by a policeman. When you're 20 and you're stopped by a policeman, your immediate reaction is resist, fight against the system, don't give him anything. But as you get older, you become more aware that, you know what, if I just keep calm, don't say nothing, don't say anything, just wait, listen to the question, take a couple of seconds to engage your mind, and then come back with your response. That's when you're in control of your emotions. So it's really a case of, one has to fully understand one's emotions and be able to control them to the point that you don't react to certain things. Now, the most common thing that I would say happens with jealousy is a guilty lover. You were going out with a guy or you were going out with a girl, you split up, and the next thing, 2 twos, you see that person with another person. Jealousy. Brr, oh my gosh, she's got another man, he's got another girl. And automatically your brain starts getting this. Now, is that jealousy or is that anger or is it some other emotion? And it's only as I said, that engaging of understanding what your emotions are and how to control your own emotions, that you get to the point where you can say, actually, yeah, I feel a way, but let it slide. Water off a duck's back, and you just get on and you move past this situation. You move past the emotion, initial feeling. Then there are occasions where, for instance, like me, you get married, you live with someone for 16 years, and then at the end of it, you have this split, and you're like, oh, well, you know, I brought this to the table, you brought that to the table. That can be anger. There's no jealousy involved. So again, you get an emotional overload of a particular emotion. And again, you know, if you're doing this in your 30s, those emotions turn into anger, can turn into all kind of things. Alternately, you know, as with me, when my last marriage ended at 50, it was like, you know what, c'est la vie. It's emotion that I can control, and that comes with age. Yeah, I think that's it. I think you addressed the insecurity and vulnerabilities question, which I did note, which I didn't wholly agree with, because I think that is a completely different emotion to jealousy. If you're vulnerable and you feel insecure, then that doesn't come with a sense of jealousy. That comes with a sake of insecurity, which is a different emotion.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. I'm going to bring Sarah in because she hasn't been in, and then Tisha, you can come in. Sarah, good evening. Right, you're muted, I think, babes. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent. Hi, guys. Good night to everybody. My take on the whole thing is that I think one of the panel said that about the Zen and all the rest of it. My thing is I actually think that a lot of the jealousy that people have is really mixed up with with a plethora of different emotions. Not only have I been a jealous person, and I probably still am, I'm going to be honest about it. I've also been with someone who is who has been very jealous. And I think a lot of that stems from insecurity. But I think that when Tony said about the fact of, you know, you can see someone that you used to be with and still have the emotions and stuff and whatever, I think part and part of that is mainly normal, although some people may not sort of admit to that. So I do think that's a normal sort of behaviour. My take on it is that there are probably signs in terms of jealousy that you go through in terms of getting that from your spouse or whatever, and you probably don't see the signs. But I think we'd all agree that I think the detrimental part is exactly where that jealousy can go to what height, whether it turns into abuse or whatever. But I would say that without even realising that everybody perhaps at some point in their relationship does have a little bit of jealousy. I think that's normal, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I don't think you was in the chat when we were talking,
okay.
saying that jealousy is in all of us. It's how we control it. It's how we allow it to be part of our behaviour, or how we express it. So it is definitely part and parcel of all of us. I'm gonna. Oh, Faye's got her hands up. Faye, come in, darling.
When I wanted to just clarify, when I say it's a wasted emotion, the reason why I say that is because it's either in your control or it's not in your control. So if it's not in your control, then it becomes you feeling that angst about it. I think that it becomes a wasted emotion, because there's nothing you can do about that. If the person is jealous, how do you change that person's jealousy? That you can't control that, so then it becomes a wasted emotion. For me, I think we talk about Zen, and I think I've always been that kind of person. I've always been, because I had, going back into my childhood, where I had a very, my childhood wasn't great. And so when I came out of that and when I became an adult, I wasn't going to allow myself to have those same feelings that I had when I was a child. So that was part of it. So my personality is one where I don't I'm not a person that let things affect me too much. I'm the kind of person that sits back and lets things and I let things play out. So if it is that I'm feeling, I trust my feeling, I trust my emotion. So if it is that I feel that somebody's cheating on me, for instance, I trust that that's correct, and I will just let that play out, because it will play out, because people do make mistakes, they trip up, they do all of these things that comes out in the end. And I know exactly what I'm going to do when when it comes out. That's why when I said to you before about my relationship, I asked him the question. And the reason why I asked him the question was because I wanted him to tell me that it was a no, so that it could play out. Because he then got relaxed. He got so relaxed that it came out. And in the end, what could I do about it? I couldn't change his feelings. I can only deal with mine. And for me, it's a wasted emotion. If I'm going to go into that whole anger phase, that whole doing this to his car, pulling up at his house and checking to see if somebody's, why am I doing that? That's a waste of time for me. And that's why, for me, it's a wasted emotion. I don't say it's for everybody, but for me, that's why.
Tisha, you want to respond?
Yeah. Yes, conversation's great. I was trying to think, as you said, like everyone has that emotion of jealousy, and it hasn't really played out. But I've been thinking the only time I've got jealous, or I get jealous, is when someone's doing, like a partner or a friend is doing something that I want to do. Like they might be out and about having fun and I can't be there. That's how my jealousy shows up. But then now you've got to think, like, if you're jealous of that, you've got to go out and do something. So go and do your own thing. So you're not jealous. And another thing, Vanessa mentioned about being triggered to act in a jealous way. So I have seen when people, like a partner might make their partner feel jealous to cause a reaction, because they want to feel loved, or Kim said it's envy. So jealousy, envy, sorry. So some people might trigger the other person to get that emotion out of them. And I've seen like with regards to dating as well, like men like that craziness as well. I don't know if anyone's got any response to that, but some men really like that craziness of a woman being like showing that they really care about them. I suppose it's their way of showing that they're really caring about them. But I find that crazy. But some people really like it, and they intentionally trigger a person. And I wanted to mention something else about seeing the ex. Again, I have felt a bit of jealous, but I wouldn't say jealousy. I think it comes down to comparing. You start to compare.
Oh, you're frozen, or is it just me? Or am I frozen?
I think
I'm not frozen. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So that comparing kind of thing, that can lead. Yeah, that's a bit of jealousy as well. Comparing yourself to their new partner.
Yeah, definitely. Comparison is a thief of all joy, right? And so when we start to compare, we only bring damnation on ourselves. And this is what happens sometimes in relationships, is that, say for instance, I'll give a scenario, and I thank you for that, Tisha. I'll give a scenario. You, me, and I'm going to do it from a female perspective, because I'm going to come back with a male perspective in a moment. Female, she's with a guy, living in the same town, you're getting on well. Now the guy is, people talk, innit? Pillow talk. You see that thing? Pillow talk. So you're talking and you start opening up, and you start talking about your past experience. But you're not mindful when you're talking. You're just talking because it's pillow talk, right? And you're comfortable. And it's all, baby, you feel nice and all this and that, right? And then you start saying things about what happened in your last relationship. And the man's talking, and the woman's listening, and she's feeling all right until she sees the ex-girlfriend. And she feels that the ex-girlfriend is Chris. Then all kind of manner of foolishness starts going on. You start comparing. Oh, do you see how good she looked? Oh, her hair was nice. Oh, she's got a really nice figure. And every time he says you look nice, you're like, really? And you in yourself, you don't feel good because you're reflecting on the woman that you've seen as his ex, and you've listened to the things that he said while he's laying down with you on the pillow, while he's resting his head on your breast. Yes. And so you start to compare. Then you start mashing up things. And when he's talking, you start adding your little bits of salt and pepper to the talk. You're starting to say things he didn't even say. Right? Sarah's shaking her head, holding her face. Tisha's nodding. Kellyanne's nodding. You're saying things. He's saying something, and you're hearing something completely different to what he's saying. And then you're causing argument, and you're trying to find. And then he's like, what's going on? But all in all, inside you, it's a rage that's building up in you. And it's like, she's a bitch. She's a this. She's a that. The girl ain't done nothing to you. She ain't done nothing. She don't even look upon you. She don't even see you. She's not interested in you. She's not interested in your man. But yet still, this thing is niggling at you to the point you start to mash up and sabotage your own relationship. Can anybody relate to that scenario? Please do come in and chat. Sarah's got her hands up. Come on. Cheryl's got her hand up. She's got her hand up. Ladies, come in. Sarah. Oh, we're on mute. Can we unmute Sarah? Thank you. Come, Sarah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
You listen. You got me sweating already. Yeah, you're getting me agitated because when you said the little scenario, me in the bed, I toss and turn, me I punch him already. I can't. For me, I have actually been through scenarios like that, and some people might think that I'm a bit of a bunny boiler then, but I think this all boils down to, excuse the pun, boils down to communication, because from him start dark water, I don't want dark water, one more water. And if I do see her, I think that I have had this conversation with my friends, and they would probably say, well, I'm not going to compare myself to her because I'm a totally different person, and it's not where he was, it's where he's at, or as the songs usually say. But for me, yes, that would drive me wild, and I would then question as to why he's even telling me that information, unless he wants a crack to it. Because for me, I just think that is a bit disrespectful. Oh, me mash up my man, like that, for less than that. Because to me, I think that that's probably not taken in consideration to my feelings. So I would actually think he's actually trying some sort of crap, because I would actually question as to why you would want to even dwell on that, because it's not where you used to be. If that's the mother of your child, you better change that context fast, and you better talk about her in a different kind of manner. So for me personally, I don't want to hear about that. If you're going to draw upon that relationship with some sort of positive vibe, or you're going to make a comparison, it needs to be in context. It needs to be in a particular manner. Because for me personally, yeah, that would wind me up. So that would be borderline jealousy. I've been in a situation like that. Stop it.
Okay, right. Borderline jealousy. Let's just be clear. It's jealousy, all right? Because, and the thing is, the conversation isn't necessarily about anything to do with it. He's just having a conversation. He's just mentioning when I was with my ex, la la la. And so you are hearing things that he didn't. So remember what I said? You're hearing things he didn't say. Okay. Before you guys come in, I just want to bring Cheryl in, because thank you for sharing, Sarah. Thank you for your honesty as well, because not many people be honest enough to say why. That can't work for me. Okay, Cheryl, are you ready? Cheryl, can you hear me? No, I don't think you can.
You're talking to
yes,
me,
darling.
because I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I can't hear anything.
We can hear
I've tried
you.
headphones. I've got real sound problems just now.
Okay. We'll come
Sorry,
back
I don't know
to
if you
you.
want to try someone else, but I can't hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Kelly on, then Tisha, then Faye. Come, Kelly on.
Yeah, I'm glad you said what you said, actually, and then Sarah extended on what she said there as well, because I think sometimes we're thinking about this a little bit too deep. I would be in a relationship, and maybe I'm looking at a young lady, and maybe just got a nice dress or something, looks nice, and the partner I'm with is like, "Why are you looking at her for?" It's like, well, that is a form of jealousy, or you could be just, I don't know, maybe I'm singing away,
Mhm.
and I might be looking at somebody, maybe I'm just singing to the audience, and they're thinking I'm actually singing to a young lady. Like literally, like you're singing to her a bit too long there, and I was just singing. I think sometimes, you know, it's just those little things. I think it does happen more times than we think it does. I think we may be stretching this a bit too far out. You know, we kind of think of just extreme measures. Sometimes it just comes in little doses. It could be even the young lady saying he's got big muscles, and you think, why look at him? Why look at him for? You know what I mean? And you kind of feel like, well, okay, the guy does look like a big man. You know what I'm saying? He look big, he look strong, but you might feel a bit weird because maybe you look a bit wimpish. You know? Yeah.
Tony's saying, Tony's saying, your eyes still work. Being in a relationship doesn't make you blind. You know, make
Yes,
you blind, you know.
I know, but women don't like that. Women do not like when you're with them and you're checking another gal. They don't like that. That's just how it is. My daughters don't like that. My daughters don't like when I'm with them in a car walking down the road. Sometimes they'll be like, Dad.
Well, that means you're really looking. You lose concentration. If they say, Dad, you're not concentrating on the things that they want you to concentrate on. That's what it is. Okay, Tisha's going to come in, then Faye, and then I'm going to give another scenario because I want to drop these things because this is all about our behaviors. And Theo will come in. So, Tisha.
Yeah, I'd like to go back to that point of I think it is definitely about self-esteem. Your thoughts and feelings. No one can make you feel a certain way without, as you said, their permission. And I remember Sarah was saying about getting really upset and going around in your mind. I remember with my ex, we had an argument and went to sleep and I thought it was fine, and then woke up with the guy literally on top of me. This is like a few, it must be 4 hours, 6 hours later. He'd been processing it in his head that much till he got himself in the right state that he wanted to physically attack me. So it's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter what you say to the person. It's their feelings, it's their emotions, and it can send them, it's their imagination, and your imagination can send you crazy. So you thinking, your partner looking at someone else, it's your imagination thinking, oh, they want that person, they want them more than me, they're going to leave me, and then it can escalate. So again, I want to reiterate, I think it's about self-esteem. If you were that strong in yourself, knowing that other person is not going to affect your relationship, you wouldn't care if your partner looked at someone else, because you would be that strong in your relationship that it's fine.
Okay, lovely. Tony, I'm going to bring you in, but Faye's going to come in first, and then Theo, then you, because they've had their fingers up. So, Faye.
Yeah, I mean, I do go back to the point that if you are secure within yourself, and by no stretch of the imagination, it does take time. I think for me, I've always been the one that people come to and discuss their problems with. So I've heard those scenarios. I've heard the smashing of the cars. I've heard all of that. And I'm like, I sit back and I'm thinking, oh my God, like my friends are mad. They're crazy. And I'm like, I just wouldn't want to get myself in those situation. So by talking and processing with my friends and people being in that scenario, I have actually learnt to say, I don't know, I just can't think. I've matured so much now, and it's taken a time. I mean, I was married 12 years ago. We've been split up for that length of time. I've not had a partner, long-term partner, since then. So for me, I've done the work. I've had that time to kind of think about all the things that affected that relationship and relationships before that. And I've come to that place. And hearing my friends, I've never been in a position where I thought I'm going to smash somebody's car. I've never been in a position where I thought I'm going to slash their tires or do anything to another person. Now I love myself that much that I think, oh well, if they're going to do it, make them go on, because I know that if I'm going to get, mine's going to be 10 times better, and that's what I think about now.
Thank you, Faye. Who was next? Who did I say was next? Was it Theo? Theo, then Tony. Come on in, because Theo's been waiting a while, and then Tony come in. Theo, come in.
In regards to that scenario, it tends to be, well, I've been in that scenario, but it tends to be the female that brings up the conversation. So they might ask you about your ex and you might say something, or they might see your ex, as you said, and then they start making up a scenario in their head, and it becomes a bigger picture, an argument that you're like, why are we even arguing about my ex? Because she's my ex for a reason. I'm looking at Delroy's comment there. It says, it's funny. It was funny how these females get jealous over a man's ex. I wonder how the new boyfriend feels about the baby fathers that come to visit. The boyfriend has to hold it. I know the female don't think about the boyfriend's feeling when they're acting all amicable. And that was a very interesting comment, because I've been in that situation. And as a guy, you just have to just hold it. The guy's coming to see his child, and whatever the relationship is between them, you kind of not get involved, because it's not really your place to get involved. But if it were the other way around, the female's going to get involved. Why are you talking to her for so long? Why is she calling you? Why is this? Why is that? And then it becomes an argument over you're talking to your children's mother. So I don't know. A lot of the jealousy things, I don't know about the guys. I'm going to be a bit controversial. Let me just go there. It tends to be the female's emotion getting riled up. I'm not saying guys don't get angry, because I know guys do. I know guys that are very jealous. But in terms of that, I'm just speaking for me. Females get, that I've known, that the females get really, they go at them and they go from 0 to 100 in no time. And so that conversation can start off as small as you spoke to her for 5 minutes to all of a sudden you're in a full-on blazing row over speaking to someone for 5 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Theo. Theo went there. He went there. Listen, Tony, come in quick, have something. I wanna go for the jugular.
Go for it, man. Go for it, man. We're being too nice. We're being too nice today. Everybody's being nice.
I think people are being nice. But me, I come with something.
Everybody's being too nice, man.
Come in, Tony.
Okay.
Come in, Tony.
Okay, so here's one of the conversations that often I get into with my partner, and listen. So you sit down with your partner and you're watching a film. Guess what happens? The woman comes on scantily clad. Sometimes she'll be completely naked, and then emotions come on like, ooh, she's nice, and the same can happen in the reverse. So I've mentioned this in a comment earlier. Listen, as men and female, we get attracted to different things. Yeah. So quite often is a case of saying, right, well, you know what, let's have a conversation. Who do you like in the world of celebrity? Well, for me, I used to like Halle Berry, but the one for me is Nia Long. Yeah. People who know me know Nia Long is the one woman, if I'm given an opportunity, that woman there, she can get a piece of me. And most women have a man that corresponds exactly the same way. Because you have, if any of you are with a person Have that conversation if you haven't already. Which person do you normally say forgave you one shot, one opportunity? Yeah, not going to affect our relationship, but you could have one person. They very quickly have a person in mind. Yeah, and it's one of those things that you can conversate with people. Well, you know what? You walk past a person and you look over the shoulder. Well, what's that any different to you sitting in front of the TV and a woman take off all her clothes and she's naked, and all of a sudden you're aroused, and your partner says, "What? Why are you so aroused?" Yeah, well, that woman is very good looking. She has very beautiful eyes, you know. So I just think when one starts talking about, well, what's he got, what she got, why are you talking about him, why are you talking to this person? Well, you know, sometimes you have to look at it. Is it just comparison, or is it emotional attachment? Yeah, I like Nia Long. I think she's a beautiful woman. I think she's the personification of a beautiful woman. Yeah, thank you. Jill Scott is a lovely girl, but Nia Long is in a different league, I'm afraid. Jill Scott will sing me, yeah, but Nia Long, she's a different thing. But yeah, I just think, you know, listen, we come across situations in life, and you know, look, when we're young, we look at certain body types, we look at certain complexions, we look at certain hairstyles, and as you get older, these things become immaterial. Yeah. So as you get to sort of 40, 50, you know, you're looking at things and you're like, I see the deep meaning of the deeper person, the person inside. Yeah. Not the external gloss. Yeah. When we're young, we're looking at the external gloss, the lipstick, the boobies, the, you know, the hair and all that. When we get older, we go past that. And one of the things that I always say is, you know, look, I've been out with some people in my life. When I was young, I was all about that pretty girl. Oh, yeah. Ooh. You know that face you make when you see the girl? Ooh. And you want that on your arm. As I get older, I'm like, I'm not about that life anymore. Yeah. That person inside is more important to me. So, you know what? When you start talking about comparing, well, you know, the boyfriend's coming along or the ex-husband's coming along, you know what? It's not about that anymore. I love you for you. Yeah, I like you for you. I like the person inside of you that is attracted to me now. And therefore, all that supplemental stuff becomes irrelevant. Yeah, relationship is now me and you. I can look past all that beauty and say, you know what? It's nice. It's great to look at, but I'm in you. I'm in your characteristics. That's
okay, thank you for that. Do you know what? I know a lot of people have celebrity crushes. I mean, I have no crush upon no celebrity because they're not available. What's the point? I ain't got time to waste. I'm looking for someone who's available for me to look upon and look on them bottom and see the nice roundness of the bottom. Right, but I'm going to go back to Theo. And Theo, let me just be clear what you were saying. Did you say that women display jealousy more than men? Did you say that? Did I hear you right?
Yes.
Okay. All right then. Okay. Let me start by saying this. Is that men and women get jealous over different things. But statistically, you hear what I'm saying? Statistically, meaning numbers. The numbers suggest that actually men are more jealous than women and display it in a more aggressive way. So, boom. I have to disagree with what you just said. And I was just like, you know what? Because I wanted to say at the beginning, and something just said to me, no, just oil it back a little piece. And then let's see what comes out in the conversation. Now, women are more likely to get upset and feel that it's a disrespect when they're walking down the road with their man and the man's head is turned like that, and they're not looking where they're going because they're too busy looking at the next woman, right? Women see that as a disrespect. Most women don't like that, right? But generally, according to the statistics, psychologist statistics, it's saying that men are more jealous than women and display it in a more aggressive way. So I just thought I'd just leave that on your lap for you to just mull over and think about. And as we go on, I'm going to bring something else. There's been loads of stuff here, but there was a comment that made me laugh because I'm about to bring the second scenario, and then we're going to amalgamize the two. Let me just see. There was a statement by, I don't know where it's gone. It was by Shalomi. And then we've got a question as well. The statement was about she used to be a side chick. Can we find
Sorry,
that?
Yvonne, can I just come in on your statistics?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to defend Theo to the max. Yeah, you failed
Because
to
you
mention.
you like to defend. Go on.
I like to defend my brother. Yeah, you didn't mention that men are more jealous when it comes to sexual infidelity, but women are more jealous when it comes to emotional cheating.
Oh, are you looking that up right now?
Yeah, of course I did. I look up the same statistics you do.
I knew that. Tony, I knew the numbers were skewed. Thank you very much, sir.
No.
Because
what did I?
Go on.
What did I say? What did I say at the beginning? Did I not set a caveat? Did I not? I said the premise was set. Men and women are jealous over different things, but as a whole, men are more jealous than women. That's the statistics as a whole. I never said that women weren't jealous. It says here, men and women get jealous about different types of things, but as a whole and as a general, men are more jealous.
In regards to your scenario that you put up, in regards to your scenario, that's all emotional, because it's an emotional jealousy, because that's what we're dealing with. So nothing's happened. We're talking, and it's an emotional thing because a woman has put in things in the conversation that wasn't even said.
That was the scenario. But
that's the scenario. That's what I'm dealing with. The scenario, and most of the jealousy is emotional that we get.
But the second scenario hasn't come.
Well, you're going off the second. We haven't discussed that one. I'm going with the first one. So in regards to your first one, emotionally, which is emotionally pillow talk and all that, that's an emotional jealousy, isn't it? Because it's your emotions that set the trigger off. I've had arguments over something that's not even happened. It's a discussion that we've gone into a big argument because, oh, your ex or you're this or you spoke to your children's mother for too long, and that's an emotional jealousy. And that's what I'm talking from my point of view. I don't know about the other scenario.
Okay.
And for someone to key someone's car, that's an emotional stuff, isn't it? Key someone's car, smash windows, and all that kind of stuff. That's all to do with the emotions. Nothing's even happened. It's a scenario that they've played in their head.
Sometimes it is real. Sometimes there are times, and as I was given the situation, there are times when it is a figment of the imagination of the woman. However, there are more times when she doesn't have the evidence. Who said that? It was Faye that said they didn't have the evidence, but they knew the gut. They got tell them said the men was up to something, and they were. Anyway, so shall we go into the next scenario? Because I want to give. Where is that one from Shalomi? I really like that. That's it might not be the best scenario, but I do like it. Because you see, sometimes you bring it on yourself. I just have to say, you do bring it on yourself. Some of the behaviors of women. I'm not defending how some women behave, but I swear, Shalomi wrote something like, and I'm going to paraphrase because I can't find it on the thread, and it's not been up here. She said she was a side chick, and the man had his wife or his partner, and I don't know if she didn't like it or not, but something did happen. And so the man was with her. So what she did, she never do the man nothing, and she didn't do the woman anything. What she did was she wrote her name on the label in the inside of his underpants, his boxer shorts, and then she took the used condom. I think I'm paraphrasing. I think I saw this, and put it in his pocket. So when he went home, the conversation he would have had with his partner would be very, very interesting. I wish I was a fly on that wall to hear what he had to say that evening to his partner. Now, there's a scenario. What do you do? So that's Shinobi's scenario. But on the flip side, I just think it's hilarious. I wish I was there. But the flip side of this is, here's a scenario. Man is out with his girl. Now his girl she's beautiful, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? She's out, she's friendly, people see her. Hi, hi, hi. She's just saying hi, hello. She's out with her man, she's honoring her man, they're having a good time. But other men are looking at her. She's getting attention, not because she's outwardly bodacious or anything like that. She's just getting, for whatever reason, she's getting attention. And the man that she's with is feeling more and more insecure. And his conversation to her is, to one point, he starts standing in front of her so nobody can see her. Right? Hear the scenario. So when she's dancing, because she wants to be free, and she's dancing with him, and then he's noticing that more and more people are being attracted to this person. She's just got a great nature about her. And then he starts to kind of be aggressive towards her and starts taking it out on her because he's feeling a way about what the men are doing. And then starts saying, I just don't trust them. I trust you, but I don't trust them. Right? Yes, he's very insecure, but this is something that happens very often. Very, very often, where the man is like not taking responsibility of how he's feeling. He's there saying, it's not you, it's the men, but yet still is showing an aggressive behavior towards the woman that he's with. This is something that happens. What say you, men? Yes, Tony, you've said he's insecure, because I see that on the thread. He is insecure, but men are just as insecure as women. On top of that, let me just add on one more little scenario. When you're doing the two-step, so a man will come along, he's passing by, and she's dancing, she's minding her own business, and then all of a sudden, he take her by her hand and he wants to two-step with her. Boyfriend's mad now, because you've disrespected him. This happened. No fault of her own. She didn't go out to dance with nobody. She starts minding her own business, and the person has just took her by the arm, turned her around, and he's walked off. But yet still, it's an issue. What say you to that, men, on that situation? Come in, Tony.
So yeah, I've been in that scenario. And again, this comes to maturity. I'm pretty certain when I was younger, I would have been fuming if a man wanted to crop up on my gal. Yeah. However, as I've got older, you know what? My girl's mature. I'm mature. I can deal with that. If a man wants to dance with my partner and my partner is happy to dance with that gentleman, so be it, whether they're friends or not. Look, it's just a dance. A dance is nothing. Yeah. Now, to the guy who's having a dance, she might be fulfilling his wildest dreams. But to my partner, it's just a dance. And to me, it's just a dance. Because you know what? At the end of the night, he might be even cheeky to say, can I give you my number? Can I get your number? And she's going to turn around and say, I've got a man. End of. Now, some men, when they're young, don't feel secure enough to be able to let that happen. As you get older, as you become confident and knowledge yourself, as you become aware of your own emotions and your control of your own emotions, you can deal with that. But until such time, yeah, you're likely to be jealous. But, as I've written in the chat, I've come across that scenario. I let men dance with my partner. I haven't got an issue with that. You know, listen, if I'm going out, I can't dance. Well, I can dance all night. I admit I can dance all night. But you know what? I actually like to go out with a partner and say, you know what? I can dance with him. I can dance with her. I can move around the room. I'm not tied to this person. This person doesn't have to be right next to me all the night long. Yeah, I can go and chat to umpteen friends and be happy. And that person has the freedom to go and chat to umpteen friends and other people. So at the end of the day, it's about your insecurity or your security and feelings about your confidence in your own self and your own partner's ability to control themselves. So, that's how I see it.
Thank you, Tony. I don't know if I agree or disagree with that in terms of being out with a partner. And I think, well, let me be honest. If I'm out with my partner and some woman pulls him to dance and it's just a little thing, because we're not talking about scrubbing out now, because I think that's a different thing. I wouldn't like that. I'm just saying. Theo.
In regards to the dance, it depends on the dance, as you just said. If it's a proper press up against wall, then I won't be uncomfortable with it, but I'll just look at her and say, it's up to you. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, I know she wouldn't like it. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Say, I'm putting the ball in her court. If the guy asks you for a dance and say, you're a big woman, you can answer yes or no. Simple as that. You answer yes or no, and then and the guy wants to hold up against the wall. That's between you and the man. But if the shoe was on the other foot, I know there'd be a big discussion about it. But no, I wouldn't do it myself. If I'm out with a woman, I wouldn't dance with another woman. Maybe a little, as you say, a little fun, friendly thing, but
yeah,
I wouldn't dance with somebody. I wouldn't dance with another woman if I'm out with my wife or something like that. I wouldn't do that. That's just, to me, that's disrespectful.
Right. This is what I'm saying. If you dare press on the next woman. No, and no again, because I see that as a sign of disrespect.
But in regards to socializing,
it's nothing. That's nothing.
In regards to socializing, she can socialize all she wants. Talk to whoever, fine. That's not a problem. Socialize. I'm a social butterfly, so no problem with that. No problem with that at all. Could talk to whoever, chat, whatever. It's not a problem. I'm not. If she talks to an old boyfriend, cool. I'm cool. End of the day.
So somebody said the dance thing. If they're doing Strictly, that's all right. The dance thing depends on the circumstance. If they're doing Strictly, that's different. Yeah, because they're getting paid for it. Okay. Yeah. Tisha, come in, and then Kelly on come in.
Yeah. Sophia, I'd love to hear the conversation after your partner did decide to dance with that person. Scrub up. So you said you gave her the option, and if she said yes and did a proper little wind up, scrub up kind of thing, what would the conversation be after? And I think I wouldn't like someone dancing that close to my partner, and also I'd be thinking, why would that woman want to be scrubbing up against my man? That does not make sense to me. What is the purpose of that? And again, if a man wanted to do that to me in front of my partner, I think that's really weird. But Theo, what would your conversation be after your partner, your wife, decided, yes, thank you, I will, I'll have a dance with this man?
What, a proper scrub up?
Nobody scrubs on walls anymore. It's a thing of the past. Nobody scrubs on walls anymore.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
You don't need a wall, do you?
He says you don't need the wall, do you? No.
You say strong legs.
Those dances are they're very sexual. Like, why would you want to dance with a woman like that when her partner's there? There's only one intention, isn't there?
Yep. The conversation. You know what? I won't even have a conversation. If it happened, I won't even have a conversation. I'll let you fester in that one. I'll I'll let you fester in your
Kelly,
guilt. I'm not going to say anything. I'll let you
Whoa.
fester in your guilt.
The next day, how would you move on from that?
Me, I told you, I'm not even bringing it up. I'm not
Whatever
even bringing it up. Because you know what? That will make you think next time. I'm not even going to bring it up. I'm just going to leave it right where it's at.
Yeah, you're one of them. You're one of them mind. Can I say it?
Yeah.
You're one of them. You're one of them mind fuck people. You just You're not having.
But why?
You're not saying.
So,
but I get you. I get you.
But why would I confront it? You've made that decision. I gave you the option. You made that choice. So why am I going to confront the choice now to bring up an argument? So you did it on purpose to bring up an argument. I'm not entertaining your argument.
But that's the thing.
Some people do.
Yeah, and I'm not entertaining your argument. You can argue with your mind and yourself, because now that's going to be all playing up in your mind for the next how long week till you want to bring it up. I'm not bringing it up. I wait for you to bring it up.
All right. So let me just add a little salt and pepper to this, right? Just add a little seasoning to it. So she's done it because she wants a reaction. I'm not saying that this is real. She wants a reaction from you because you don't show any emotion in the relationship. She wants to know. Sarah,
but
come in. I'm just gonna. Can we leave that? I'm just gonna let.
But she knew that from the start. So if you know that from the start and you want to then poke me, you're just poking for no reason.
Just poke.
You know that from the get-go. So why are you gonna then now try and poke me? Because if I do it to you now, it's gonna be a big explosion. So.
Sarah, come in. Come in, Sarah. I can't hear you, Kelly. On. You're too close.
Can I just quickly say something before Sarah comes in? Yeah?
Quick.
Just very quickly, right? I think it depends on the dance. I mean, not the dance, I mean the type of music. Let's say soca. Boy, that's soca, innit? Just soca, just like, I've been dancers and you can bring a girl, whatever, and it's soca. That's what happens in soca. And it's just, it's the type of music and the environment. But if we're talking about there's something in your eyes, babe. R. Kelly, telling me you want me back. Tonight is your night. Listen, here is some slow jam. Come on. Slow jam. Now, that's a different story altogether. Because soca, you get me? Soca is like, yeah, soca. But if it's like them R. Kelly tunes, no way you're going to get my woman. Can you hear me? You're not going to get my woman and put her to the water. No way. Well, let me just put that one in there, yeah? Sarah, please, comment.
Sarah, come.
Sorry, good night, Saint Tony, and good night, Saint Theo. Luckily, I know you, Theo, so I reckon you actually are like that. So I'm going to cut that one there. Minaj said Payo tonight. But the thing is that if we are going to do this, right, the only thing in my eyes that I think this is going to be applicable, this is not the 1940s and 50s where we're doing the jive and all that, right? Yeah, we know what kind of dancing we do in modern times. Yeah, so if that is going to be the case, yeah, for me personally, I know my man army, I forgot to take crutch to the dance. Yeah, cause one with foot I got broke. Yeah, I don't think that's actually going to happen personally. I don't think if you're in a relationship nowadays that you are actually going to say to your mate, yeah man, go and go dance with him if you pull your hand. The thing I was going to say is that this actually says something about the relationship you actually have with your partner. Because when I was with someone, you obviously have that kind of conversation that you wouldn't disrespect each other like that. Yeah. And I've been in situations where, especially when you go to dance hall or whatever, a man will pull your hand. I want him to pull my hand, because if he pull my hand, I will pull it out the socket. Yeah. Because if I'm actually with my man, I'm expecting him to respect the fact that I'm with someone, but I know that guys can be very cheeky. And so sometimes it is actually a territorial stuff, and people find it quite funny to do so. I've never been lucky enough to be with a man who says, go on, girl, we're going out tonight. If some geezer wants to dance with you, let him go and dance with you. That's all right, because some girl pulls me across, I'm going to dance with her too. Because I think that is fairly disrespectful personally, okay? So maybe I'm just uptight, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm just new school as opposed to old school. But for me personally, I think that can be a situation, unless you've got an open relationship or you've had a discussion about that, and that obviously comes with communication, etc. But for me, I would say that most couples wouldn't be that okay with someone else dancing with their partner, especially if it was something quite provocative. For me personally, you said that that person would be doing it because they're trying to get a reaction. I don't need to go back at the table for go talk. This is not a Will and Jada situation. I don't need for really go sit down and go talk. Yeah, because at the end of the day, that is not how to get a reaction out of somebody. Yeah, the only reaction you're gonna get is a smacking in your mouth or something like that. Because at the end of the day, I don't think most people would accept that kind of behavior. Let's be honest. Yeah, like I said, this is about communication. And Theo said about the whole, jealousy thing, and he would just let it play out. Maybe he would, because Theo is quite a laid-back person, right? Having said that, I don't think most men would be like, yeah, okay, I'm okay with that. I think most men, there have been scenarios where men have done that. They've either got to be intoxicated or drunk or something, because most men would actually realise that you are with your partner and wouldn't disrespect you like that, yeah? And most women that I know wouldn't do that. Of course, there are situations where people would say, look, we're an old couple, and it could be something like, I don't know, driving, or I don't know what any dance, them foxtrot or something like that, where you can exchange partner and those kind of things and whatever. But for me personally, I don't see how that's gonna work, sent Tony and sent Theo, because that's not working on my world. Yeah. And so my thing is also, like I keep saying, this is down to communication. There are people that will disrespect you. I personally have been in a scenario where most of my friends are male. I'm a bit of a geezer bird. And yes, I do get on with males. And so I have been out with people who will say to me, look, tone it down when I'm with you. And I respect that. The things that I may, or the things that the way in which I may present myself may be different if I'm around my partner, because I'm not about to disrespect him, because he also can turn the table and disrespect me. So again, this goes back to communication. We're talking about jealousy, but I think that also jealousy comes hand in hand with the fact of, I think sometimes when women behave in a certain way, it's because they feel disrespected and they feel that their feelings are not being taken into consideration. And I think that's what it kind of comes down to, and it's not a joke. People are saying this whole thing of, well, if you're jealous, that you're insecure. I am not insecure. I'm definitely not backwards and coming forwards. I'm know myself. I'm not insecure. But if you disrespect the thing,
I didn't say I would be cool with it, but I just said it will happen.
Jump in and say, boy, you frightened me now. Because, girl, I think I'm very different from you. I don't know if it's because of age. For me, if I'm in a relationship with someone and our relationship is good, I don't mind my man dancing with someone, but it depends on the dance, correct? I don't find that as long as we know and we understand and it works both ways. It's the type of dance that goes on. I don't know. I think that when you've lived a bit and you've had some relationships, then you realize that there's certain things that are not worth getting upset about, and Theo, you don't let it go. You're one of those ones that are silent and disapproving. So you're not letting it go at all. I don't follow that at all. You may not be having an argument about it, but the woman is certainly going to know you're not happy. I get that vibe from you anyway. But I do think there's a difference between, I think, jealousy and someone disrespecting you. I think that there's a fine line, because you can not necessarily be jealous of someone, but if someone disrespects you, it's a different thing. I don't know if anyone else agrees. I do think there is a difference. Yeah. So that would be my thing. But I don't know. I've got to the stage of my life, I guess.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. I can hear you. I've got to the stage where I try not to sweat the small stuff, and to me, that's the small stuff. There are more important things in relationships, I think. But if you understand that, like you say, though, that it's about communication and it's about understanding what your, I suppose, boundaries are in your relationship. But that would not be a deal breaker for me, as long as I'm not made to look like an idiot, and and vice versa. And there's a limit to what is respectful. So yeah, so that's my thought on that.
Can I respond? Is it Cheryl?
Yes, I can hear you.
I let go. I'm a let go.
Sorry,
Yesterday,
Thea, I've lost you.
so yesterday is a yesterday. I'm a yesterday. Yesterday is yesterday. It's happened. Just move on. That's me. I don't hold on to things. I let go very quickly of situations. Life's too short to be holding on to things. All it will, it's just going to make festering me. I'm not going to have time to fester. I'm a progressive person. So yesterday, it's in the past. If they want to bring it up, then bring it up. And all I would say to them is, how did it make you feel? And what was the purpose of you doing it? That's it. If it was up to upset me, you didn't upset me. You disrespected yourself, because I would never do it to somebody. I would never do that to somebody I've gone out with. I would never disrespect somebody I'm gone out with like that. So I'll leave it right there.
So if I could respond, is that all right, Yvonne? I mean, I didn't mention what kind of dance, but quite clearly my point about dancing has got many a different viewpoint on what is acceptable and what isn't. So I'm going to throw another trigger in there, which is brought on by a point that Ruth made in the comments, that, okay, so you're with a partner and your partner wants to go salsa lessons. What's your feelings? Because I'm going to tell you something now. There's no closer a dance than salsa. And there's possibly not a greater expressionist dance of sexuality than salsa. So your man or your woman is going off out of sight with a bunch of other men and women going to do this salsa dance, sexiest dance. What say you? Open up the floor.
My wife goes salsa every Wednesday. No problem. I went totally 2 times. It's not for me. But it's not that intimate, because they're just moving around. They're not dancing one partner. They're moving from different.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem with it.
Yes. Yeah. It's okay. It's not
a good example, because I've done something.
Okay, we need to speak one at a time. Can you guys hear me? Because you guys couldn't hear me before. Am I back in the chat? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay, one at a time, guys. You have to speak one at a time.
For me, I would say he must know what he's doing. If my man is going out to go salsa, you go. Have your fun, do whatever you're doing. You must know what you're doing. You must know what you have. You must know what you're prepared to lose if you're going out there and doing what you're doing. I'm with Theo on the yesterday. Yesterday was yesterday. Whatever happened yesterday, we're past that now. We're moving on and we're moving forward. But if you go salsa or you go whatever dance you want to go and do, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be there with you anyway, because I love salsa and I love all of that. But if you decide that you want to do something that I'm not interested in, knock yourself out. But you must know what you value. It's your relationship and you must know. I'm not going to spend my time being jealous at home, thinking about what you're doing with who you're doing it with. You must know. You are responsible for that. I'm not taking responsibility for your actions. I'm not.
Okay. Let me just read out a comment that just came in. Salsa. This is never again. My ex-husband is married to his salsa partner. Hold on. I'm talking. Hold on. Because I'm reading out a comment. Who he was sneaking off with. Everlasting bastard. So sir, forget that one. That's a comment that I was reading out. Yeah. So
they're gonna do
that's absolutely, as Faye was saying, the man has to know what the boundaries are. The woman and the man in any relationship must know what the boundaries are. Salsa is a very sensual dance, but it is no more sensual than dancing to reggae. It's no more sensual than dancing to soca, calypso. You're up close and you're winding up yourself, right? So each and every individual must know the boundaries. That's all. Kelly,
can I just step in there? Because I've done. Is Yvonne still talking?
No.
Okay, yeah, I've done salsa, and when I first went there, I was thinking, hold on a minute, this is because I just like the art of salsa, and it does look sensual. I think that there's difference between sensual and sexual, by the way. I think those two words are different.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can be explained if you want to, right? But I saw it as a sensual dance to a point that, you know, me, sorry, it might be a bit embarrassing and thing, but me's a brother. So I'm going south, I've got to make sure that I'm just wearing something that, you know, just make sure that anything, you know, that everything is held together. Okay, I don't know how else to put it, right? Because unless after dark, yeah, it's just in case. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But
Hold
it's
him
not
down.
saying,
You have to hold him
but make
down.
sure,
Hold him down.
hold it down. That's it. Hold it down. I'm saying, because why? You know, I then started doing it obviously and realized that it was more challenging than I thought it would be. And I actually started to appreciate the art to a point. All that sensuality thing for me just went out the window. I actually appreciate it for what it was. I didn't find it to be as close as what people say it is, because you're doing the turns and you're doing the cross turn and all that stuff. Yeah, and I just thought to myself, I just want to become good at it. So all that sexual, sensual stuff to me just went out. I mean, the sensual may have stayed, but the sexual stuff, no way. It was just like, that's not what it is. Kizomba, on the other hand, yeah, that could be seen as that. But even then, that's strict in itself. But some people don't, you know, they would rather be that close on the waist side. So the chest is meant to be, you're meant to be on the lady's chest so that they can feel you. So if the lady's got big breasts, then you're gonna, you know, but it's part of the dance. But in terms of the waist down, you know, you're not supposed to connect there with Kizomba. But unfortunately, you do get some guys that's going to be going that way. So, but soca, that is intimate, but then it's that kind of environment where it's a jolly type thing, right? Slow jams, listen, slow jams, innit? Slow jams. There's no compromise with that.
So get into, because
Go
we're
on.
coming up to the end of the show. We are coming up to the end of the show. And I want us to really kind of think about how we are responding to our partners, and those of us who don't have partners, how we will respond, because this is about us talking things through and getting prepared for when we do find that special someone, and how we can behave differently than what we behaved in our previous relationships. Now, there's been some comments, and I think I need to read this one out because it just made me sit back in my chair. And it's from Shell. Shell Williams says, let's be real. Because Kellyanne was saying about holding, you know, he had to learn to hold it down. But Shell's saying, let's be real, ladies, the clit can be stimulated during dancing as well. Which is a fair point. An absolutely fair point. And it can be. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. So as we were talking, I think, you know, it's a bit of yin, bit of yang. Yin and yang. Yeah, bit of yin, bit of yang. This is what happens. Tony's fanning himself. Yeah, we're going to listen. We have to we're getting to this point because we are going to be talking about sex a little way down the line in a few weeks' time. We are going to be talking about sex, and we are going to be talking about sex toys. We're going to be talking about lots of different things, and you will see them because everything will be revealed on the night. You'll be able to see them with your eyes. Yes, and we will discuss what is the difference between male and female sex toys and who gets more pleasure. We're going to be doing that. So let's not be shy about these things. So Shell
Good
has
luck,
mentioned
Theo.
that, you know, Shell has mentioned about the clip being
Oh, that's what...
Yes. I can see the panel having a good old laugh. Yes. Right. So we're coming up to the last 15 minutes. So before I do our final thoughts, I want to throw it out to the panel to just kind of give a summary of what they think about jealousy and how jealousy has impacted them, or should I say, what were the learnings that they've learned, and what they want to leave with the audience. But I also want to just say this in terms of the beginning of the show where Tony brought up the Jada Pinkett and Will Smith scenario, the word entanglement. Yeah, the word entanglement. And so in your summaries of jealousy, because clearly for the young man to come out 4 years after the situation had ended, which he ended, according to Jada, it leads me to believe that there is, it's either one, it's about his album sales, right? Because he's got a new album coming out, or two, there was an element of jealousy there for him to do what he did to disrupt their normal and disrupt their marriage in such a public way. So I'm going to throw it out. With surmising, you've probably got 2 minutes each. Tisha, come in first because your hand is up. Come in, and you've probably got...
I haven't watched the video yet. I've seen all the memes, so I can't comment on that. But with regards to jealousy, I think it comes down to awareness, like being aware of your emotions. And if someone tells you, because you might not see it in yourself, if your partner's telling you something, maybe look at that. And relationships are mirrors, aren't they? So they mirror how we're feeling. We might not be able to see it, but it shows up. And communicate. Tell that you should be in a relationship. Well, I would hope you'd be in a relationship that you can communicate your feelings, and if someone triggers you, maybe ask them to be a bit more mindful or whatever. But ultimately, it's about yourself, really, self-esteem. If you're that secure in yourself, in the relationship, nothing that anyone else can do, or your partner will lead you to be like super jealous when you're out of control. But that's my take on things.
Lovely, thank you very much. Kellyanne, do you want to come in with your closing statement, what you want to wrap up with?
Well, the whole Jada and Will Smith thing, if we're going to use the word entanglement, I think that's going to be an entangled word for decades to come, maybe, who knows. It's obviously affected us all because, as you guys might remember, I actually mentioned Will Smith and Jada quite a lot in terms of how I like relationships and stuff. And I knew that I'm a little bit unclear now, actually, with their relationship, if maybe they've had times when it was open. It sounds as though Jada may have done a few things at times of where, it was outside of the marriage, or they might have had a break. But it seems as though Will Smith was very committed to the relationship. And as we can see on the subject of jealousy, you could see from the video that there is a hint, rightly so, of jealousy there. So there's obviously some kind of disorder or breakdown that's happened there. It seems like what they may have agreed to together that had been broken. So I think, anybody would have a right to be jealous if you made a form of a contract and you didn't keep to it, and somebody else has been involved because of that. That's all I got to say.
Thank you for that. We're just bringing another lady, Faye, then I'll bring in Theo.
For me, I would just say, understand the reasons why you're being jealous, and understand that there are things that you can control and there are things that you can't control. And if it is that you are feeling that way, then it's just to understand why you're feeling that way and do something about that. Because, as I say, you can't change anybody else.
You can't. Thank you, Faye. Thank you for that. Theo, you come in?
I saw the Will Smith and Jada thing. Apparently they were separated, so I don't know the relationship. They got a weird relationship anyway, so they air all their dirty linen in public. So it is what it is. In regards to jealousy, I see, who is it? Kim says, well, how's Theo letting go when he said he does not address the incident in the process? Just let it go, like anything else. It's just an incident. I can make it become a situation, or I can make it just be an incident. And in regards to jealousy, Tony's kind of hit the nail on the head. It's about maturity and how you weigh up the situation and approach it with a logical mind instead of trying to be emotional and trying to control the situation. Just control. All you can do in anything is control yourself and how you look at it. So if the person is doing something that you find disrespectful, then you got to see, how can I deal with that? Is it something I'm doing? You find out what it may be, or you just address it with them. And if they say to you, you've done X, Y, Z to them, then you lot can discuss it, or you can part your ways. But it's about moving on and about looking after yourself and being respectful to yourself. And then if you're respectful to yourself, you're respectful to your partner, and you're able to treat each other with respect. I think a lot of us don't respect ourselves enough. So when we get into a situation, we take our disrespect to ourselves or our insecurities, as everybody been saying, on the other person, and it becomes a situation. So just try and get yourself better and get yourself right. And then when you get into a relationship, you know how to kind of deal with things better because you are comfortable in your own skin, as they say.
Thank you so much, Theo. Who else to come in now? Cheryl, Tony, then Sarah. We need to go quickly. We've only got a few minutes left. So Cheryl, come in quickly for me.
Just basically, I'd like to say that
I can't hear you.
I think
You're muted.
so. Can you hear me now? Yeah. All right.
Can't
She's
hear
loud
you.
and clear, Yvonne. She's loud and clear.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
So I'd just like to say that I think that the key of getting rid of jealousy really is about knowing yourself and understanding that jealousy is your own insecurities about certain things, maybe about the relationship itself. And communication is the key to everything. You need to talk, you need to talk, you need to talk, you need to talk. And you need to be able to talk in a reasonable manner, not argue. So if you say to your man, look, things have happened to me in the past, this is what triggers me. And if you see me doing it, then just, a couple of times, just reassure me. It's silly, and I'll get past it once I feel secure in the relationship. But I do think communication all the way is the key to a good relationship and getting rid of jealousy within that relationship. So that's what I think.
Okay, so I get that because I didn't hear anything of what Cheryl said, so I kind of guess you finished. Tony, then Sarah, and then I'll close.
Couldn't have put that better, Cheryl. Absolutely. Communication is the key. And I'm leaving you with the words of one of my other youth crushes, Miss Lauryn Hill. How you going to win if you ain't right within? Yeah, that's my parting comment. How you going to win if you ain't right within? Once you're right within, everything else will work itself out.
Boom. Thank you very much. Sarah, come in.
Cheryl said, and Saint Tony, that yes, it is down to a communication, and it's also about your partner reassuring you. And I think that if there is issues with jealousy, it obviously will rise its head eventually, and you kind of need to sort of talk about that. If it's in regards to spouse that you've had or whatever, then I just think it's basically dealing with those emotional thoughts head on, and trying to address those, and basically putting your best foot forward.
Thank you. Guys, here is something. God give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's something that we all need to recognize. One of the things that I want us to consider before we even get into the communication of the jealousy within the relationship, I want you to consider this. that it's time to take responsibility for yourself, how you feel, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings. This happens, this is a process before we even get to communicating. We must take responsibility for who we are, how we're thinking, and how we're responding first. The end of the day, we heard throughout today's session that some people are like, I'm not jealous, I'm not a jealous person. But we know that jealousy is a part of human behavior. It's a part of us all. So it's actually learning and navigating what is the boundaries. Where do we go? Where do we stop? How do we start? How do we end? We know that jealousy is a thing because we've been around for many years and we've seen it, be it arguments over foolishness, arguments out on road, cars being keyed, windows being smashed, cussing, women having fights with women over men, men having fights with men over women, falling out with friends, blah blah blah. You can't talk to my woman like that. Why are you talking? Why are you being too friendly with my woman? Why? I should have brought that scenario. Why are you being so friendly with my woman? That's my woman. Why are you being so friendly with my woman? And so, but we also have to understand that each and every one of us are not the other one's possession, right? We don't belong to anybody. Even if you're married, you are still yourself. You're still an entity by yourself where you still have to take responsibility for yourself. So I just want us to consider that today and consider the impact that our actions or our non-action, because we never really covered that, because I know of people, and I know it's a bit mental, it's a bit psychotic. I think there are people who feel that if their partner is not jealous or has anything to say towards them, that they feel that their partner doesn't care. So it's about having balance or creating harmony, as I like to say, because balance is like weighing up the scales. It has to be equal. But when you've got harmony, it means that the scales they're a bit more fluid. And so I want us to consider that. I want the Facebook group to consider. I want all of those people who have been messaging and saying things. I want you to consider your own behavior, your own thoughts, your own feelings of things that you've done in the past. Because you know what? None of us are exempt from jealousy. None. Not one of us are exempt. And we have to look at how we behaved in that scenario. When was the last time you were jealous and how did you behave? Did you behave accordingly and what did you learn from it? As Theo said, there comes a time where you just got to let things go. But again, letting things go means that you take responsibility of who you are and the actions that you take. All right. So this has been After Dark. This has been an amazing conversation. I want to thank you all for joining us today. I want to also let you know that next week we are going back. We are talking about rejection. The panel will look a little bit different than it does today because we're going to have some experts. We've got expert psychologists, we've got an expert counselor, and another expert psychologist coming into the into our panel space. So you'll still see some of the lovely people on the panel that's here today, but there will be a couple of others, some experts who will be able to answer your questions specifically. Now, I want you to remember that this is a 2-hour show. So your questions cannot be questions that are going to take over. You cannot ram down what you want to ram down people's throat. You have to take time and know that we've only got a 2-hour show. This is something that I think needs to be discussed, and that's the rejection and the mental health around it. So I also want you to know, be mindful. Guys, be mindful of the comments that you put in, because this is a very difficult time for many people. Whether we're coming out of lockdown or not, it's still a very difficult time and people are still finding things hard to deal with. And so I'm just asking you to be kind, as always, because you're very kind in this place. We're very kind people. Be kind and be considerate. towards other people. So if you do have any questions for our panelists, what I would like you to do is to send them in advance. So if you could put this email up on the screen, which I should have said before, it's info@yvonnemichelle.com. If somebody can put that in the comments for me on Facebook and YouTube, info@yvonnemichelle with 1L.com. All right. If you have a question, please send it in and we will read it out next week. So I just want to thank you all for joining, being here. It's been lovely. It's been wonderful. We will probably pick this up in the week, probably Thursday or Friday. We'll have a little impromptu chat about this conversation. So for now, God bless. Stay safe. Look after yourselves. We'll be back here next week, 10 p.m. for After Dark. Thanks, guys. Much love. Ciao.
You ready? You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Raise your hands up.